Tutti venite armati, o forti miei soldati, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. Tutti venite armati, o forti miei soldati, fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. Io sono di vita amore, giusto seghettatore, non temete punto, ma in belle schiera uniti, me seguitate arditi.
In the first program of this series, we began our Madrigal history tour with a look at the overall panorama. Now we'll take a closer look at just one country, France. We went to an area which has the richest heritage from the period, the Loire Valley. Here, as everywhere else in the world, the first thing people want to know is, hey, what's the news?
Puisque vous êtes si rebelle, puisque vous êtes si rebelle, mauvaise bonne nuit, bonsoir, bonsoir. Bonjour, 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 bonjour.
That song of welcome has brought us to Blois. The town stands proudly on the north bank of the River Loire, about 100 miles southwest of Paris. For many years, it was a favourite of the French monarchs. This is the royal chateau, which until Versailles was built, was the most splendid of all the palaces of the kings of France. There had been a powerful fortress on this site since the Middle Ages, but when it became a royal residence in the mid-15th century, successive kings started to expand it to make it more comfortable and luxurious. Next to the section built by Louis XII is perhaps the most beautiful wing of the whole chateau. It was added by Francois I, and it's he who will play an important part in our story. Here, and wherever he built, he identified his work with his personal symbol, the salamander. He came to the throne in 1515, and for the 32 years of his reign, ceaselessly exercised his three great passions, making war, cultivating the arts, and indulging in amorous intrigues, which is what this song is all about. The gentle lover of the title describes his restless passions and begs his beloved not to let the moment pass in vain.
Gentil amoureux, ça n'a fait qu'un temps, devient vieille tout à l'instant. Un gentil amoureux, ça n'a fait qu'un temps, devient vieille tout à l'instant. Tant que loin de ton œil soulaste mon cœur, mes beaux anges coulés, je n'eus que langue, toujours mot et jamais repos. Gentil amoureux, ça n'a fait qu'un temps, devient vieille tout à l'instant. Or, depuis que mon heure nous a rassemblés, de grande aise je suis toujours tout comblé, tout content et jamais dolent. Gentil amoureux, ça n'a fait qu'un temps, devient vieille tout à l'heure.
great mantelpiece in the Hall of Honour proclaims the union of Francois and his queen, Claude de France, his salamander once again next to her ermine. Though he seems to have been deeply attached to his queen, this did little to hinder his philanderings. Claude was greatly mourned by the whole kingdom when she died at the age of 25, worn out after bearing him 7 children. It was said of her, if she's not in paradise, then very few people will go there. Together, they created a most cultivated and brilliant court in which women played a leading and respected role. Francois spent vast amounts on clothes and finery for the ladies of the court, and even decreed that whoever reflected on the honour of these ladies would be hanged. Inspired by the splendours of the court, the nobles of the surrounding countryside began to modernise their chateaux. At Chaumont, towers were added to soften its martial origins, and the inner courtyard was made more stylish. Aizé-le-Rideau stands with its feet in the river Indre, and the graceful turrets and windows added on top are mirrored in the waters below. But the grandest of all the region's chateaux was begun from scratch. Chambord is Francois's greatest architectural triumph. Even the Emperor Charles V was impressed by this place, so much so that he described it as being the peak of human achievement. Building this huge 440-room chateau was a consuming passion for Francois. Even when his 2 sons were being held for ransom in Spain, and his poverty made him raid the church treasuries, the work continued. It took 50 years to complete, so Francois never saw it finished, but he did enjoy the use of 1 wing in his lifetime. His son, Henry II, did complete the building, and it became the centre for the nobility's favourite pastime, hunting. In a building designed for pleasure on a lavish scale, this terrace is outstanding. It provided a magnificent platform from which the court had a splendid view of the start and finish of hunts, or of the many tournaments and displays put on for their amusement. Up here, amongst the towers and chimneys, there are many nooks and crannies, ideal for a more amorous kind of chase. The sort of jolly games, indeed, described by Clément Jeannequin in this next song.
Je rencontrai la belle au cojon, souriant doucement la voir baiser, elle en fait doute, mais je la boute, et laissez tout avant, laissez tout avant, les gens, jouer. Pour un refus, ma faut laisser. Propre lui 15 amoureusement, souriant doucement la voir baiser, elle le riotte, danse sonnante, et laissez tout avant, laissez tout avant, les gens, jouer.
This is the castle where Francois grew up and where he spent the first few years of his reign. It's at Amboise, a little further down the Loire. Francois came here at the age of 6 with his ambitious mother after the king, his cousin, recognized him as heir presumptive and spent a carefree youth waiting for the crown. Leonardo da Vinci, who painted this view, was brought to Amboise by the young king, who gave him a grand house within sight of the chateau. And it was here, tradition has it, that the artist died in the arms of the king.